Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Brickformer podcast, a podcast series where I answer your animation questions. Today I honestly don't even know what the questions we have. I did not prep for this. I got the questions on the slides here, so that's about all I did. Sorry about that. I also have no water, so bear with me. And it's also really late, so I get to talk really sleepily on this episode. Anyways, today we'll be answering questions. We'll just go with it. I honestly don't know half of these questions, but we're just gonna get right into it. I am going to pitch my free offer thingy. Animation setup checklist. Go check it out. Link in the pinned comment below. If you're unsure if you're setting up your animations right for preventing light flicker and just wanting to set up your set better so you can animate more efficiently and all that good stuff and just get better results, be sure to check out that list. Link in the pinned comment below. And that's all I got to say about that. With that said, let's figure out what this first question is. This is the least prepared I've ever been to a podcast. Let's see. The first question we have is from Mr. Lego Brick D2. He asked, a question for next podcast. Should people delete their old videos as their channel grows? Because I feel like my old videos are a bit corny, very bad, very poorly made, and doesn't represent the person that I am now. Also, nice video. Thank you. I don't know what video you commented on that on, but I appreciate it. Let's see. Yes, I can really relate with the old videos being like super corny. Like, you just go on my own productions channel, scroll back a ways, and just watch the couch commercial or the littering video. Like, those are corny. But I say that to say I haven't deleted those videos. In fact, I started my channel 5 years after I started animating. So I was a bit late to starting a YouTube channel. I could have started it way prior to when I did, but I just animated for the fun of it. But whenever I did start a YouTube channel a year or two ago, I decided to upload all of my old animations that made sense, that weren't the weird ones. I kept the weird ones to myself. And I uploaded them. Why did I do that? Well, because I don't want to upload my first animation as like something I did like in 5 years of practice, of 5 years of experience. Because I don't want to give people the impression that I started out like this, or like this, I am an overnight I just became like this great animator. I don't want to give people that impression. And so I uploaded all my old stuff. It was bad. It was really bad, actually. Some of it was kind of funny if you have that kind of sense of humor, but it was just there, and I uploaded it. And I would say keep your old videos, because for that same reason of like, it may look bad to you, but it can be a source of inspiration to those who are new to your channel and see you making like great stuff. They can scroll back to your oldest video and go, oh, he didn't start out like this. He started out like me. So it's a little source of inspiration for other people. It may be a little embarrassing for you, but I would recommend you just keep it. It just shows where you started in contrast to where you are now. I really need a water bottle. I don't got one. I am not making the effort to get one. So hopefully the audio sounds all right. Anyways, but yeah, that's literally it. I would say keep those videos, because it's just, you'll thank yourself later. I will say that. You'll thank yourself later, because you cannot re-upload those videos after you take them down, because they'll just be uploaded after your like newer stuff, if you ever did re-upload them. And so I would just keep it. At the very least, if you really, really, really don't like some of them, like, I would recommend you keep the old ones. But if there's like some in particular you really don't like, I would just unlist them. I wouldn't delete them entirely, just in case you want to bring them back out. You never know. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know why I'm out of breath doing that. I'm like super tired. I should be in bed right now, but instead I'm recording a podcast. Anyways, moving on to the next question from the Big Kid 3. I'll tell you what, this guy has the best questions. He has 2 questions in this episode. He's been having a bunch of questions the previous episodes. He's got some questions. He is good. Shout out to the Big Kid. He's got some awesome questions. But he said, here's a question that's popped up. What is your opinion on sponsorships, like when a company gives you a figure and you show it off in a video? Do you think it's unprofessional? Or would you recommend trying it? I've thought about it, but I'm on the fence. Excuse me real quick. So I don't think sponsorships is a big deal. Oh, I need to rephrase that. I don't think it's a bad thing. You can go really wrong with it really quick. I've read somewhere, it was an article. It was something about like sponsorships, especially in like podcasts and stuff. And they were like, you don't want to jump on every sponsorship deal. Like, you should welcome sponsorships, but you don't jump on every deal, because it shows that you're desperate. It shows that you'll show your audience anything just for the sake of money. And when you put that on, when you put that perspective on, it's like, okay, you're going to end up avoiding like 90% of the sponsorships that you get offered. Like, if you get offered, I don't know, a cleaning product, you're not going to have them sponsor your stop motion video. You can maybe do it for comedic effect if they let you, but other than that, nah, probably not. But yeah, I don't see a problem with sponsorships. It's a great way to make money. I've never done one before, but I would be open to doing one. But the key with sponsorships is only let brands sponsor you if you actually use their stuff and like vouch for it regardless of money. Like, regardless if they were to ever pay you a penny. If you were to like shout their product out from the rooftops and like, you know, if the product comes up in like everyday conversation of like somebody asks you what your favorite brand for this is or that, you would just always say this brand, and they reach out to sponsor you, then yeah, go for it, because it's something you're talking about anyways, so you might as well have them pay you to talk about what their brand is or what their product is. So in that regard, yeah, I think sponsorships are really great, because it benefits you, it benefits the company, and it benefits like everybody watching your videos, because it monetizes you talking and like giving great recommendations for good products to those who want to know. But in any other aspect, like if you're just chasing sponsorships, I would say no, don't do that, because that really hurts your channel and like, you know, people's trust in you. And if you just chase sponsorships, it's not going to pan out well. I probably sound horrible. My goodness. I promise I'm not ill or anything. I'm just like tired. But yeah, that's what I have to say with that. Let's see. I hope I'm not treating this podcast as like a chore. I promise I do enjoy doing this. I will say that. It's just, yeah, I think you get the point. Right now it's just one of those days where it's like, okay, I'm ready to sleep. I just got done animating the first part of day 22 of the 30-day challenge. I just got off like this crazy live stream where we came up with a story arc for Mexican Toad. It's a long story. I'll do a voice line. You want a burrito? And yeah, anyways, I'm sorry to everybody who just heard that with earplugs or headphones or anything connected to your earlobes. Yeah, I just had to. It was inevitable. Anyways, but yeah, I stayed up a little late doing that, and then I'm here now. Anyways, the next question we have from the Big Kid is, I've been experimenting with ease in and ease out. Ooh, here we go. This is a good one. And by doing so, I've kind of learned that almost anything could benefit from ease in and ease out. Is that true? And what are some tips for easing in and easing out? Whew, this is an awesome question. because I've been experimenting with actually bending the rules of ease in and ease out for the sake of snappy movement. What I'm about to say does not apply to you if you do not animate snappy movement or like super expressive characters. But I've been experimenting with actually skipping the ease in movement of a lot of the movements from, like, say, an expressive character with expressive dialogue. It makes them really snappy, and as long as I ease out of the movement, keep it consistent, and ease out of the movements with a couple frames, maybe just one sometimes two, and I make sure not to overuse it, it looks pretty good. It really fits the tone. So that should answer your question. Like, no, you shouldn't always ease in and ease out, but when in doubt, I would say yes, ease in and ease out. Like, make sure you're really good at easing in and easing out and getting smooth animation first, and then you can experiment with skipping the ease in frame. And I'll add to this too. I animate at 12 FPS, so I have a limited number of frames per second that's being played, as opposed to somebody with 15 FPS or 24 FPS. And so I am kind of just making each frame really count, which is like kind of why I skip the ease in movement sometimes, because I just need to snap to a certain movement as soon as possible to make it, really snappy. So if you animate at a higher frame rate, maybe you don't need to skip the ease in movement. Maybe you do. But my answer to your question, could you always benefit from ease in and ease out? Not like, I think most of the time, yes. I think ease in, ease out should be like the staple thing you do for all of your animations and every movement. I'll get to that in a bit. Hold on. But if you're confident in ease in and ease out and you got good practice with it, then you can go into experimenting with other things. And I will add to that. If you're animating like say you have like a character who just like landed abruptly on the ground and you had like camera shake for it, you wouldn't really ease in or ease out. Well, you would ease out, but you wouldn't really ease into the impact of the camera movement. Like, it would be like pretty abrupt sometimes. If it were tracking the character, I think it would ease in, but it would be pretty abrupt. Sometimes you would skip, like if it's like jittering up and down really constantly, it would just go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and it wouldn't really ease in or ease out there. It would just kind of wobble a little bit less each time. So I hope that answered your question. I really hope I didn't confuse the whole idea of ease in and ease out. But I think in conclusion, I'll wrap this up. Most of the time, when in doubt, ease in, ease out. But if you want something to look really abrupt or really snappy, more than usual, skip the ease in frame and make sure to always ease out. I would say that's a good little rule to live by. And build anticipation if you're going to animate without the ease in frame, because it builds up energy for that snappy movement. I don't always do this, but I try to when I have the timing looks right for it. Like, say, a dialogue scene, for example. Sometimes I just have to go snap, 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 back and forth, back and forth. But if I can, I will try to add some anticipation in the movement and have the character lower his hands a little bit, maybe shake around in a circle, and then do the snappy movement with his hands going up in the air, just to show that he's building up that energy, and that energy has to be released, which kind of allows you to skip that first ease in movement. And it's kind of like a spring, kind of. So I don't want to complicate it for you. So always ease in and ease out, unless you're in the experimentation phase of just wanting to figure out what looks good and what doesn't. So hopefully that helped. I hope I'm making sense of this. Aim in Animation is asked, how am I supposed to animate an arc correctly using the entire minifigure and the camera without it looking weird or jittery? This is also an amazing question. Amazing question. Because this sounds simple at first, like, oh, just animate the character in an arc and then have the camera track them. Yeah, okay. But what if the character goes up and follows an arc, but then you move the camera up and track him, and now he's not following that arc anymore? This is where animation can get a little tricky when you have two moving objects, like the camera movement and the minifigure, and they both have to be consistent and follow an arc. But if the camera follows an arc, what if it messes up the minifigure's arc? And so I wouldn't have had much experience with this if I hadn't done the 30-day challenge. I'm still doing it, but I think it was day 7. I did something really similar to this. I would recommend you go watch that, Eamon, and anybody listening who is curious about this. I think it was day 7. Yeah, it was day 7. I animated right after the palm tree video. I animated a character jumping up in an arc, but the camera tracked him. And so I made sure he followed an arc, but I also wanted to keep the camera movement consistent and also like follow him loosely. So I made sure that the camera followed him, but his head was always going up and to the left more and more until he reached that arc. And the camera movement actually helped him to slow down into that arc as he was still moving. But you don't know that because the camera was moving. And then he lands on the pile of putty, because that's what I had him land on. And then, yeah, the camera just followed him loosely. And I made sure that the camera movement was consistent and stayed consistent, eased in, eased out. Kind of tracked the minifigure. But the minifigure was always moving and progressing in the frame. So he was jumping to the left. So he was always moving a little to the left as he was, following his arc. And it takes a little bit of practice, I will say. But I would recommend you just, like, I don't know if you're talking about a jump or not. It will help either way to help you, like, understand what to do. Or you might be animating a running scene. If you're asking that, yeah, I still gotta figure that out because it's a little tricky to track the character with the camera. Yeah, anyways, that's a little tricky. But if you're talking about a jump, I think that's one of the, like, if you can figure that out, you can, experiment more and work on tracking character movement while they're, doing their thing and it stays consistent. You were talking about arc, so I'm assuming you're talking about a jump. But yeah, watch day 7. I think you'll get a little bit from that. If not, ask a follow-up question for the next episode. I hope I answered your question. Moving on to question number 5. Nader Socks asks, what editing software should I use? I use CapCut, but is there something better to use? That's a good question, because editors are kind of hard for free. I'm assuming you're not wanting to go for the paid option. We've only been rolling for less than 19 minutes. I'm almost done with this. I'm too tired to ramble, I guess. I'm just like, I'm anti-ramble today. I feel like I've rambled, but I haven't rambled. What's up with that? I gotta just talk about nothing for the next 20 minutes to make it seem like, I talked for 40 minutes. Anyways, yeah. A free editor is hard to come by. I'm not recommending you get it. Unless you're really wanting to get like a high-end editor and you're wanting to have all the bells and whistles. I have Final Cut Pro. It's $300 and it's a little bit of a learning curve. Not difficult if you find the right tutorials and it's like, okay, you just learn a thing or two every day and it's like, okay, now I got my hotkeys set. I'm doing all this. It's super easy and fast. Like, I got it all figured out. It takes about a year to get to that point with some experimentation. But if you're wanting to go for like a free editor, you probably don't want to hear this, but the best one I've found is CapCut. And if I'm you may be animating on your phone. If you have a laptop, I would highly recommend you convert to editing on a laptop, because CapCut is free on the laptop as well. And just editing on a computer in general is it'll take you a little bit to transition, but not really actually. It's kind of easy once you get the hang of it. Maybe a week. I don't know. It's been a while. But like you'll animate, goodness, I need to sleep. You'll edit so much more efficiently and like precisely, because you can like put audio effects on like the exact frame you want it to be on, as opposed to the phone where you have to like mash your finger on a screen, like drag and drop it, hopefully right where you want it, and it's like takes like 50 tries in order to get it just right. Really annoying. I despise phone editing for like sound effects and like, you know, slightly advanced audio stuff. And it's like, I can't do this. But the computer, editing on a computer, just get CapCut on a computer if you have one. If not, use CapCut on the phone. That's all I got. But yeah, I would highly recommend. I don't know. I have no idea if you animate. I keep saying animate. I'm getting off this question. I can't say animate one more time. Okay. Bobcat Bricks 501 asked, is it a good or bad idea to animate with an iPad? Is Stop Motion Studio Pro better than other apps? What motivated you to begin learning stop motion? How did this affect other hobbies? My goodness, we could do a whole podcast episode on this one question. Okay, this is where I can ramble. Just get ready. I'm gonna ramble for the next half hour. I'm calling it. No, hopefully not. I want to sleep. Anyways, it's almost midnight. Okay, who records a podcast near midnight? Who does this? Okay. For your first question, is it a good idea to animate with an iPad? If that's all you got, sure. I mean, I personally think it's easier to animate on a phone, and you'll get better results, because you don't have to. It's like the smaller the camera, the better, because you could just fit it in smaller areas. Like, I really enjoy animating on my webcam, because it's so small, I can put it wherever. I don't have to demolish a set just to fit it. And yeah, it's just an idea of like the smaller the camera, the easier it is to animate with. So if you're having to like constantly redo your set, and like you can't fit your iPad anywhere near where you want it to be, yeah, maybe try to, you know, see if you can animate on a phone. But if not, I think the iPad will do just fine. Just work with what you have. And I will say, like, I've seen an animator, pretty popular animator, especially back in the day. His channel name is Jurassic Brick Productions. You've probably heard of him, maybe not. You should definitely go check him out, because he made amazing looking animations. And guess what? Guess what he animated on? Not a DSLR, not a webcam, except his newer stuff he animated on a webcam. Not a phone. He animated on an iPad. And he made some spectacular brick films on an iPad. How did he do it? I have no idea. I don't know how he avoided that light flicker. I don't know. Like the camera quality was good. I don't know how he did it, but he did. I can guarantee you that he did. So I wouldn't like, if all you have is an iPad, just work with it. Like enough practice and like experimentation, you'll get really good results. It's all in the lighting as well for like camera quality. A lot of it's in the lighting. Yeah, just practicing, trying to see if you can make your setup more efficient based around the iPad, and just the idea of work with what you got is pretty much it. Is Stop Motion Studio Pro better than other apps? Yes. I've seen a couple apps, and I would say yes. In short, yes. It's just a lot easier to animate on. It has more features, and it's all you need. It's all I've been animating for over 6 years, and that's all I've used is Stop Motion Studio Pro. I have Pro on the laptop, which makes it really easy to animate. But yeah, what motivated you to begin learning stop motion? What motivated? That's a good question. What motivated me? I gotta think on that for a little bit. I never really thought about that too hard. Like, I know a little bit, but I feel like, what motivated me to learn stop motion? I think what it was, I've always been into filmmaking in general, photography, filmmaking. I always made those like little skits and like just random videos that I thought were cool, but I've watched them and I'm like, what is this? Why did I make that back in the day? Like, this is horrible. I thought this was good. Ugh. I tried green screening and all that. And so, yeah, I've always liked playing Legos and stuff, playing with Legos. Yes, I call it Legos, not Lego. Weird people call it Lego. I call it Legos. I'm one of those people who actually, actually are not like, Anyways, I've always liked like just playing with Legos when I was younger. I don't really play with Legos now. I only animate on it with it, which is kind of funny. But yeah, when I was younger, like my brother and I always like came up with these cool little stories, and we were just like we had our main characters, and we just went wherever our imagination took us, and it was just really fun. Had a great time. It was always super funny and comical. And I as I've said, I've always been in filmmaking and like photography and all that. So whenever I came across a YouTube video about like Lego stop motion and like the Battle of Mustafar between Obi-Wan and Anakin and Lego, I was like really amazed of like I did not know this was possible. What is this Lego stop motion you speak of, fellow animator? Like, what is this? And so I just did deep dives. I bought a book from Klutz called Learn How to Animate or whatever it was. Make your Legos move or whatever it was. Make Lego movies. And I don't know why I got that book. I should have just watched YouTube tutorials. I didn't know that was even a thing. I didn't even know Lego stop motion was a thing. So I just thought, oh, I want to learn something. I better get a book. That's where my brain went. And I'm glad because it came with like a Lego kit of like some minifigure pieces, which actually assembled my sig fig, which I have now. The face and the hair, which is really cool. I really like that. It tickles me a little bit. But yeah, I got that. And I just learned all I could from it. I learned ease in and ease out, which I hardly followed, and consistency, which I never followed. And I just made it showed me to download Stop Motion Studio on the phone, and so I did that. And I was like, this is so cool. And I just made random stuff that looked horrible, but I liked it because I could tell stories. It was like playing with Legos. It took a little bit longer, but it was like playing with Legos, except I captured it. And it was like the Legos moved. And it was like playing with Legos, except it was a movie. And I just thought that was so cool. And I couldn't get enough of it, and I still can't because it's just filmmaking and Legos together. It's amazing. And I am still into filmmaking. I do like, and this transition to how does this affect other hobbies. I still do like filmmaking. And I like music as well, playing music, trying to learn the piano. And so, how has it affected other hobbies? I think I film a lot less because I animate. Like, all my creative juices kind of go into making Lego projects. I still do make like yearly short films, which I will not post on YouTube. I refuse to post on YouTube. If I weren't an animator, I would make a whole lot more short films and stories and stuff like that. I would be all over the place with that. But yeah, my creative outlet is mainly Lego stop motion and just overall YouTube content nowadays, because I'm a YouTuber. Hey, who would have thunk? And yeah, it's it's definitely been like one of my main hobbies, like one of my only hobbies aside from music and occasional filmmaking. I've always liked to study like filmmaking and like camera specs and camera gear and like all that good stuff. I've always liked to just research and binge videos on that topic. And yeah, I think it's all just like blended together into this one creative outlet. Like I sometimes do music for my brick films. Sometimes, like I just did music for the podcast intro. I'll play it again. I came up with that on the piano, and then I put it into Logic Pro, and then it came out with this. That's right. That wasn't AI. That was actually me and my creative juices. That was me, and I made that on a piano, and then I just kind of mimicked it in this like music designer, and like played it on my keys on my computer, not the keyboard, and I just made the music from that. And so I think, yeah, just having a Lego stop motion channel in general has allowed me to, you know, gather my filmmaking creative juices, my music creative juices, and like animation creative juices, and kind of blend them together into one channel. And you're probably like, Owen, what are you talking about? You don't do filmmaking on your channel. You only do animation. Well, I mean, I film my hands talking, you know. I just like to think outside the box with how I can present Lego stop motion to people. And yeah, it's just a cool creative exercise overall. And I just take whatever, you know, talents or, you know, hobbies I'm interested in and try to work them into this channel. So I think that's cool. I think it's actually, yeah, if I weren't an animator, I would be a lot more into filmmaking and music, but I am an animator, and that is like one of my key hobbies. And I still really like film and music and all that good stuff. I sound like a theater host or whatever. Anyways, but it's kind of a side hobby. I don't know. I wouldn't treat music or filmmaking as a side hobby. It's still a hobby up there. I just do it a little bit less than animating. But I hope that answered the question. It does affect other hobbies, but I think in a good way. It fuels my creative juices. I have a creative outlet. I recommend everybody, I don't care if you're an animator or not, always have a creative outlet that you can just go to and just be like brainstorming ideas on. Like it's so cool. It's so cool. It's like, you know. Anyways, welp, I think that's it. That means I can go to sleep now. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed those questions. Hopefully I answered them in a proper way that at least one singular person can understand. That's not me. I think it made sense, but I'm half asleep, so I can't really tell. Maybe I just look at this video in the morning and be like, what was I saying? But hopefully not. Anyways, go check out the animation setup checklist. Link in the pinned comment below. Pinned comment? Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Go set up your animations with that checklist. And if you don't like the checklist after downloading it, let me know and I'll modify it because I want to make it as good as it can be. And if you have any ideas for like other checklists or like templates or PDFs or whatever you call them, let me know. Maybe an animation. Do you guys want like an animation, like not like the 12 principles of animation, but like key animation tips that I have all in like a couple pages of a Google Doc or whatever? I think that would be cool. I just haven't put any time into it. Who would have thunk? Anyways, I am going to end. I'll see you later. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below. Next episode, we may or may not have a guest speaker. I have no idea, honestly. I know about as much as you do. But, yeah, with that said, I hope you enjoyed this. God bless you, and I will see you tomorrow. No. I'm doing the outro from the 30-day challenge. It's like ingrained in my brain. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. God bless you, and I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm surprised I made it through the intro without saying like, Yeah, I blanked. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. God bless you, and have an awesome rest of your day. I'm going to end.